Hello and good morning. It's Phil Thatch. I've just woke up this morning and I've got a plan for my off day today, and that is to see what's in this box and then go do some photography with it. And I ordered this lens. This is a lens. I ordered this after watching one of David Saylor's videos, and I was really interested in getting a lens like the one that he was using that day. And he was using a Nikon 24mm f2.8 AIS lens, which that's not what this is, but it's similar to that. So I got on eBay and I found this thing, and it looked like it was in really great condition. And I've had this box for about 3 weeks and haven't gotten around to opening it up until today. And here it is. This is the Nikon 24mm f2.8D, which is, because it's a D, it has screwdriver autofocus, so it will not autofocus on a new Nikon Z camera with the FTZ adapter, because it doesn't have the screwdriver motor in the FTZ. And it won't focus on older DSLRs like the 3000 series and the 5000 series won't autofocus it, but the 7000 series and like all the D800 cameras, the D500, stuff like that will autofocus this lens. Look at this thing. It's used, but look, this is like unboxing a brand new lens. It's got all the packing material, manuals and such right here in the top. The fella that was selling this lens, he had a bunch of other Nikon gear that looked basically brand new on eBay, but this was all that I needed, and here it is. You know, and I wasn't sure if he was including a front lens cap on it, but he was. But here it is, the Nikon 24mm f2.8D. Interesting thing about this lens, I can use it on my Z-mount cameras and manually focus it. I can even use it on my Canon camera. I've got an adapter and I can manually focus it on there, and you can control the aperture with this ring. But if you put it all the way at 22 and flip this switch, then the camera will control it. Even on the FTZ that won't autofocus this, the camera will still control the aperture. Or I can put it on my Canon and control the aperture myself. The reason I bought this lens, you know, I watched that video of David's, and he likes to do zone focus when he does street photography. And you can put this thing, if you're on F11, this thing will be in focus all the way from about 4 feet to infinity. Now I like critical focus. So I'm not sure if that's going to work for me or not. So I may put this on an autofocus camera when I go shooting with it today. Let's take a look at how that's going to work. This is my old D800. I've had this camera for years. This is the most expensive camera I ever purchased. And after having the D800, I started buying lower resolution cameras. This one's 36 megapixels, and usually I buy 20 to 24 megapixel cameras now. There we go. All right, listen to what it sounds like when it focuses. If it focuses. Camera switch to manual focus. Auto. Here the motor is in the camera that runs a little screw and drives the focus in this lens. Pretty cool. Yeah, this thing, there's a lot of in focus area with this. So anyway, Heather and I are going to get cleaned up, get a shower, get dressed, have some breakfast, finish my coffee, and then I think we're going to go to the Chattanooga market, and I'm going to try shooting with this thing. Okay, so here is the lens mounted on the camera, and I wanted to show you the focus throw on this thing. It's crazy. Right here, my thumb's at the top, and I'm on infinity. That's minimum focus distance. It's less than a quarter turn. And with this lens's huge depth of field, even though I'm going to use autofocus, just kind of snap. If it misses a little bit with the huge depth of field, it'll still be sharp enough, I hope. That's the strategy. Oh, and I want to show you one more thing on this D800. You know, this used to be the best camera money could buy when it was new, but listen to it. This is the high frame rate. It is slow, and the shutter sounds like an anvil banging around inside this thing. I shot a lot of photos with the D800 and the 24mm f2.8D lens at the Chattanooga market. And you know, the last time I was here shooting, I was using mostly my 24-70 Canon RF lens on the EOS R6, which is, you know, 6, 8, 10, somewhere along those lines, years newer technology with eye detect autofocus. And that thing, you know, I could shoot at 2.8 and just pretty much nail it at least 80%, and probably even higher than that. I'm conservative estimate of the time. And with this, even though I'm not shooting at 2.8, I was shooting at 5.6, 7.1, 6.3, 8. It definitely was not nailing it every time. Huge depth of field with this lens, like I've mentioned earlier. So I think more shots would have been in focus with this than if I was using some other lens and missing critical focus a lot of the time. But I shot a lot of shots. That was kind of my strategy today. Make lots and lots of photos, and maybe I can get 20 or so, because my philosophy on street photography, my street photography is always for a YouTube video. And if you can get 20 or so, you can tell a pretty good story. So let's take a look at what I did get. All right, let's take a look at these photographs I got with this old 24mm f2.8D lens on my Nikon D800. Here are some folks making some kettle corn. And as you can see, this is 6400 ISO, and the old D800 can't handle that ISO nearly as well as some of my newer cameras. And it's 1/320th of a second f8. I was trying to use kind of almost zone focus and autofocus at the same time. And I decided to also black and white a lot of these photographs so we can kind of look at them from two different ways. And I'm not sure if I like the black and white or the color better of this particular one. Maybe I don't like either one. Look at all these tomatoes. I love the 24mm focal length on full frame. It gives you a nice, just right next door to ultra wide sort of a look. And this photo is pretty cool because you got the tomatoes, and they're, you know, the foreground ones are in focus and are out of focus, excuse me, and then they kind of drift into focus here, and there everything drifts out of focus, even though I'm at f8. And this girl over here is in focus, and you can see anyways, this gives you a nice feel for the market. I really like this shot. Here's the color one, and on this one I think I probably like the color one better. Some of these I probably like the black and white better, but on this one I prefer the color one. You may prefer the black and white, who knows. Here is a girl who is selling 3-ounce candles, 3 for $30, mix and match. Here's the color, and here is the black and white, another 6400 ISO f8 shot. Let me see, what was the, only 2000 ISO on this one, so I had a lot more light on that shot. I'm not sure, this girl's definitely out of focus, and this girl might be in focus. I don't know. I was really struggling with this setup. You know, gosh, the last time I shot here, I used my Canon R6, and while every single photograph wasn't in focus, my hit rate was definitely better. Here's some folks having a conversation, and they're not perfectly sharp either, but I think they are sharp enough. I think this photo has a nice feel to it. You know, it's almost like you're in the conversation, and I like this lady over here who's kind of looking around. That's something about f8, you know, she would be completely out of focus if I wasn't at f8. So I don't know, I'm really more of a 2.8 person, but f8 has its uses as well. Oh, look, there is Heather. On this one I'd stopped down to 5.6 and increased my shutter speed to 1/400th, and there she is in black and white. I don't know, most of them I did color first and then black and white, but on this one black and white first and then color. Hi Heather. Here are some ladies who were hanging around at the market. This one's f5.6 ISO 1800 1/400, and here's the black and white version. I think I might prefer the black and white better on this particular shot. These folks here at the jewelry area are always, every time I take a photograph of this booth, people are buying stuff. Those ladies do well. There's the black and white version. This gentleman has the Keep Calm and Garden On shirt, which I thought was really cool. And it looks like he might be a Tennessee fan, so I like that as well. And there is the black and white version, which I like this, but I think I might like this better just because I like the University of Tennessee. If you don't like Tennessee, you might not like all that crazy orange. Here's some folks who had, just look at all the beautiful colors of the vegetables that they are selling. I thought that was really cool. I like this one in black and white as well. Another, this one's at 6.3. I kind of experimented. I think the widest open I shot was 5.6, and I went all the way down to f8 sometimes. And the light on this lady was absolutely beautiful, I thought. And she was kind of looking towards me when I decided I was going to make this shot, but by the time I clicked the shutter, she was looking away, and she had all this interesting moss planters that she was selling. It was really cool. And on this one, I think I probably prefer the color shot better. 3200 ISO f8. This lady has great eyes, and they're not really perfectly sharp, but they're pretty close. If if I don't go to whatever that is, probably 300%, you can't tell that her eyes are not really sharp. Pretty cool shot. These ladies were talking for quite a while, and I managed to walk right by them and just kind of lean the camera over and make this shot f5.6. There's the black and white version. I don't know. I'm going to call that one a tie. I don't know. Maybe I like the black and white version better. Who knows? Now, this guy was at like let's see what the sign says down here, the Real Cajun Market. And you got all these people around, kind of interesting looking people all the way around him. But he's ignoring all of that. He's just happy to be cooking some sausage in this big pan. And here's the color, and here is the black and white version. I love the smile on his face. He's just losing himself in his work, and he seems to be really enjoying it. I like that quite a bit. I probably prefer the color shot this time. This shot's kind of interesting. I don't know if these gentlemen have asked this lady a question that she doesn't like the answer she has to give them, but I love this facial expression she has as she is talking to them. I don't know, maybe they're complaining about her prices. I really don't know, but whatever it is, you can tell she's definitely trying to send them a message with this facial expression. Pretty cool shot. 24mm f5.6, only 1100 ISO. There's the black and white version. Now, by this time, we're walking back to the car, and I'm parked over at a parking lot right beside Finley Stadium. And Finley Stadium is right beside the market. And I thought these folks were cute as they were walking along, and I made a shot. There was a lot of rain. Here's the color shot, and here is the black and white shot of those folks. And that's all of them. All right, so there are the photos from today at the Chattanooga market using my brand new to me 24mm f2.8D lens and my really, really old to me, I've had it for years and years, D800. At one time, the finest camera money could buy. That time has been several years ago, but it's still a great camera. You know what? If this camera had a tilting screen instead of the screen that doesn't move at all, I would probably still use it for landscape photography because it's the highest resolution camera I have. But because the screen doesn't tilt, I probably will not be using it for landscape photography. But I did enjoy shooting with it today, kind of in a from the hip, and I hope it focuses sort of philosophy. So hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, maybe a thumbs up would be cool to do. Really appreciated by me, I promise you that. And if you want to see some more content like this, I'll have Nikon content and Canon content and photography, philosophy content, just all sorts of stuff. Subscribe, hit the bell, and as always, that's Finley Stadium back there. As always, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.